If games are free, why does your wallet keep crying? That's the paradox of free-to-play. The download costs nothing, but somehow you've accidentally spent $50 on a shiny sword, a battle pass, and a hat your character will never take off. What started as a quirky gimmick is now a $189 billion powerhouse built on mass reach, sneaky psychology, and the strange human need to buy digital pants. Free is eating the world. In 2025, the global games industry is set to rake in nearly $189 billion, with mobile gaming devouring over half the pie, about $103 billion. Nearly 3.6 billion people will play games this year, and more than 3 billion of them will do it on their phones. Translation: more people are swiping on Candy Crush than voting in most elections? Priorities, right? PC gaming still attracts close to 1 billion players, consoles aren't far behind, and free-to-play is now the industry's main course, not a side snack. Sure, 2023 saw a dip to $107 billion in mobile spending thanks to privacy tweaks and people briefly remembering what outside looks like, but developers quickly bounced back. Live events, flashy collabs, and the classic free entry, pay for cool skins model put free-to-play back on top, stronger than ever. What players actually buy and why they love it. So what are players spending their money on if the games are free? In the free-to-play economy, players don't pay to enter the door. They pay to redecorate the house, build an extra wing, and occasionally rent a jetpack. Whether it's cosmetic skins, battle passes, or convenience boosters, the model taps into our love of personalization and instant gratification. The scale of this is massive. About 1.6 billion people in 2025 will spend money in or on games, nearly half the total global player base. But here's the kicker. Most of that revenue comes from a small fraction of players, the infamous whales, who happily bankroll everyone else's free fun. And think of them as the generous friend who pays for bottle service at the club while you're just there for the free mixers. Hybrid monetization has also taken over. Gone are the days when developers had to pick between in-app purchases and in-app advertising. Now, the winning strategy is both. Battle passes and gacha mechanics sit comfortably next to rewarded video ads and subscriptions. It's not unusual to find yourself watching an ad for toothpaste to earn the gems you'll then spend on a dragon skin. And strangely enough, players are okay with it, as long as the core experience feels fair, the hits that keep hitting. If you want proof that free-to-play is the reigning champion, just look at the games dominating the charts. Tencent's Honor of Kings, PUBG Mobile, and the Dungeon & Fighter Mobile launch have raked in billions, with Dungeon & Fighter Mobile making over $100 million in its first 10 days in China. Then there's Monopoly Go, which turned family game night into a billion-dollar F2P juggernaut. And let's not forget social darlings like Royal Match or survival strategy titles like Last War Survival, both punching far above their weight thanks to clever user acquisition and endless live events. On consoles, the story is just as clear. PlayStation's top downloads in 2024 read like a who's who of free-to-play. Fortnite, Roblox, Warzone, Rocket League, Apex Legends, and Valorant. If you bought your console to play premium exclusives, that's great, but the most downloaded titles on your machine are all free. Free-to-play isn't just competing with $70 games, it's setting the tone for how the entire industry operates. Even subscription services like Xbox Game Pass echo the same logic. Let players in cheaply or even free with a trial, then keep them hooked with constant content drops. In Microsoft's case, that model generated nearly $5 billion in revenue in 2025. So yes, free-to-play and subscriptions aren't enemies, they are cousins in the same pay-later family. Roblox, the UGC juggernaut. No discussion of free-to-play is complete without Roblox, which turned kids' creativity into a billion-dollar machine. In Q2 2025, Roblox reported 111.8 million daily active users, 27.4 billion hours of engagement, and a record 23.4 million monthly payers. That's not just a game, that's a virtual city-state where the GDP is measured in Robux. Roblox's genius lies in letting players also be creators. The endless churn of user-generated content ensures that the platform never runs out of things to do, while the social identity layer makes cosmetics irresistible. Why buy a digital Gucci bag in Roblox? Because everyone at your virtual school will see it, and when players start paying to belong, to stand out, and to gift items to friends, you've got a revenue engine that makes premium game sales look quaint. How free-to-play works. The free-to-play model is built on a delicate balance of friction and fun. Players tolerate grind walls or cooldowns as long as the core gameplay loop is generous and engaging. Live events and battle passes create predictable beats that drive spending, while cosmetics provide endless opportunities to flex without breaking game balance. Retention is king. Day 30 retention metrics are treated like sacred scrolls in every F2P studio. And yes, whales exist, but smart developers design ecosystems where even small spenders and non-spenders feel valued, because a lively community is the oxygen of any free-to-play world. Hybrid monetization, as mentioned, ensures no player is wasted. Even if you never spend a dime, your eyeballs watching ads still keep the lights on. Meanwhile, those who want to skip queues or collect every skin subsidize the development of new seasons for everyone. It's capitalism with a smiley face emoji, the regulations subplot. Of course, not everything about free-to-play is sunshine and virtual rainbows. Regulators have taken aim at loot boxes, the randomized reward systems that critics argue are too close to gambling. Belgium banned them outright in 2018, forcing publishers to adjust their models. The Netherlands has taken enforcement actions, while the UK stopped short of classifying them as gambling, opting instead for industry self-regulation. Though watchdogs argue compliance is spotty at best. This matters because gacha and loot box mechanics are among the most profitable levers in free-to-play. If regulators keep tightening the screws, expect a shift toward battle passes, direct purchase cosmetics, and transparent drop tables. In short, the industry is trying to keep its golden goose while making sure it doesn't get cooked in parliament hearings. The cost of free? Another wrinkle in the free-to-play story is platform politics. Epic Games' long-running legal war with Google over Fortnite's distribution on Android is a case in point. In 2025, Epic scored a win when courts upheld a ruling against Google's billing practices, forcing changes to how payments flow on Android. For developers, this isn't just legal drama, it's about margins. Every percentage point shaved off store fees can mean millions more in revenue. Meanwhile, privacy changes like Apple's app tracking transparency have forced developers to rethink how they acquire and retain users. In other words, free-to-play may be the dominant model, but it's operating in an environment where the rules of distribution, billing, and advertising are constantly shifting. Developers have to be as skilled at navigating policy changes as they are at balancing in-game economies or regional realities. If you want to understand free-to-play, look east. Asia Pacific is the beating heart of the model, with China leading the charge in blockbuster launches. Games like Honor of Kings, Game for Peace, and Dungeon and Fighter Mobile don't just dominate locally, they reshape global monetization trends. China's strict regulations on playtime and content also force developers to innovate in ways that ripple outward. When a game in China can rake in $100 million in days, you'd better believe the rest of the world is taking notes. How $0 became priceless? So how did free become the highest grossing price tag in gaming? By shifting the transaction from entry to experience. Free-to-play lets players dip their toes in with zero risk, then lures them into spending on identity, convenience, and community. The model thrives because it doesn't demand money up front. It earns it by making you want to stay. At its best, free-to-play is democratizing, letting anyone join the fun without a $70 gatekeeper. At its worst, it can veer into exploitative design that preys on vulnerable players. But love it or hate it, the data is clear. The future of gaming wears a free-to-play badge. And if you're wondering whether that's good or bad, just remember this. The next time you say, "It's free, what's the harm?" Check your credit card bill before answering. And that's the wild ride of free-to-play games. Proof that sometimes free is the most expensive word in gaming. What do you think? Are F2P games democratizing access to play, or just clever wallet ninjas in disguise? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to hear your takes. If you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to hit that like, make sure to subscribe. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.